If you could mobilise all people of colour to contribute towards a vehicle which served the community in terms of education, schooling, banking, business loans, then because you'd then see money which wasn't circulating throughout the rest of the economy, people would sit up and take notice. So if all the Afro-Americans in America, they said, right, we ain't spending our money with anybody who's a corporate, we're only going to use independent and mainly businesses, they'll be forced to do a U-turn on a lot of things because £1 trillion they put through the American economy. America's £4 trillion in debt. So imagine if they was to say, right, we ain't spending no money with anyone who ain't for us. We're going to focus purely on our kind of businesses or people who support us. That'd be a seismic shift. If we could do the same thing in the UK, then, you know, you'd be able to do something. But in terms of what you said, what's the end goal? What, you know, where do we leave it? I don't know the answer to that, mate, because every person wants something a little bit different. So someone who's in the community who's got family members who are ill is going to want better health. Someone in the community who's got children but is on a low earnings is going to want more money for the kids. Someone who wants their kids to go to, you know, have the chance to go to grammar school and, you know, wants more funding available for kids from lower earnings. You know, there's all these different things which affect not just people of colour, but everybody.
Hey, what about,
I don't know what the end goal is, mate.
Can I say, what about independent government? Why don't we start trying to figure out how can we set up our own judicial systems, our own like police and governments and all this stuff, you know what I mean? Because when we've got that, then we can control what happens with our people more. As long as we're under their rule. And it's
not so himself, though, it's consensus. We're so divided in what we want in this country. Imagine trying to put forward literally any kind of consensus now. That isn't going
and that is the problem. So fragmented. Yeah, so fragmented.
It's going to become like if you had 4 good ideas, actually like 4 viable alternatives to capitalism and the democracy, and maybe even just the way we look back and structure things, like and have sort of got over and healed from our wounds. There'll be so many different ideas that even if we had to try and, as a community, as a society, had to try and make the decision, we'd be lost. Because, like I say, we've been. Do we need government? At the moment, we do. And the thing is, any kind of change that will go into any new sort of system, a new way of being, which I think will be literally hundreds of years down the line, not any kind of.
No, it's not in our lifetime, mate.
Yeah.
As a people, we're fractured anyway. We're fractured by religion. We're fractured by the countries we come from. So forget black people. You've got African countries that have an instant dislike of people from other African countries because of what they've been fed in the past. So we're so fractured anyway. And then if you think about it, everyone's fractured. The English hate the Welsh hate the English hate the Scottish hate the English hate the Irish, you know what I mean? Everyone's fractured. I imagine within Germany, there's certain states in Germany that don't like other states because they eat children over there.
This is West again, isn't it? Divide, isn't it? I'll tell you.
It's divided, yeah.
The East-West divide.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And even that is a fracture between people of the same colour. So where do we go? I think in terms of the political party thing, yeah, it'd be great if we had our own party, but even that wouldn't work because some people are red, some people are blue.
No, we need our own government. We need our own government.
Our own government where?
I don't know. Whenever a black person does a crime, he goes to the black judicial system. He goes through that channels and not to the white people.
No, because that's just Shari law, but in a different name, isn't it? And what do people think of Shari law?
It's more division.
I just think we need fair treatment and fair outcomes. That's all we need. We need fair treatment and fair outcomes in health, in education, in the criminal justice system. So then it doesn't matter whether you're black, white or Asian going through there, that you're going to have the same chances, like you said about the sentencing. Whereas if it were a gang of young white men or a gang of young black men, that it's going to be God knows how many years on top of it. And I just think that we need to have fair treatment and fair outcomes. But going back to your point, Nigel, about saying what do we want out of it and what's the end goal, I think for me, in my mind, I'm kind of thinking, I've said to you in the group chat that it's like the abusive relationship, kind of standing up for yourself and then, okay, I, as the survivor, not the victim, am saying to my perpetrator, this isn't right, this is how I want to be treated. I think it's that kind of illusion of control at the moment that's what worries me, the end goal, and it's why we're fighting for this, and this is what we want. But the powers that be and those that are in control, really, the elites, so it's the haves versus the have-nots, as well as the whole division between ethnicities and Black and Asian people being oppressed. But for me, it's that end goal that, well, the elitists are still actually in control. So have we really won a goal? Have we scored a goal? Do we have any success?
No.
I don't know how it's going to look in these next few years. I do think it's moving in the right direction. I just don't know how quickly it's going to go.
I reckon it's just like, start playing Monopoly, and now we started playing Sims or something, you know, we're just like a different game, you know, like, if that's what it seems like, and it's going crazy. And I'm going back to what Wayne was saying, I should say, when we're talking about like this black judiciary and that, imagine how under the microscope it would be, and then how the case is going to be compared straight away. In this white court where this white person was dealt with, you know, he still got that sentence, and the black person, even though he was in a black court, he might have got that, you know, a lighter sentence. Maybe black juries would be lighter on people because we've been so disproportionately targeted in the past. So maybe like almost the O.J. Simpson effect, where O.J. Simpson was let off because there was a lot of black people on the jury, and they were fed up of oppression. It's blatantly been said by a lot of the people who were jurors on that case. Is, look, we were sad enough for seeing black people go to jail, so it didn't matter if he was guilty or not. The guy was a national hero and everything. He's not going to jail. Yeah, we know we murdered her and that, whatever. He's not going to jail. Because it was almost like we didn't want another example being front page news of another black man going to jail, especially an influential one. So they
the danger of that, though, I mean, I don't know if you know much about Jamaica, but they have some of the harshest penalties going, and they're black people. And this is the thing, Wayne, you can't say, oh, well, we've got to have black police and black governments because, mate, so your crime is as bad as his crime. I think if it was a level playing field, okay, I'm not talking about mandatory sentencing, but most certainly if the black guy's getting more than the white guy and they're part of the same thing, then the question has to be asked, well, why are you giving him longer? Why is he getting longer than him? You know, if someone's getting tried and they've been done for a crime and they've got 15 years, but then the white guy's done exactly the same crime and gets 5 years, that needs to be questioned. Why did he get 15 years and he's only got 5? When they start highlighting those kind of inconsistencies, and it blows the whole thing up, and because you can then say, well, that judge seems to be giving people of colour a longer sentence than any, you know, other people.
Problem is
you can then spot it. Then you can see that shows you the racism. There it is in a glaring mark. Why is every black person you give 5 years plus, but the white guys are giving 2 years? You can see it. That's what needs to be unearthed. That's what needs to be opened up like a can of worms, so people can say, "Oh, bloody hell!" So this is what, you know. This is the point they're trying to make. There was a black guy who died in Cornwall in police custody. I think it was about 2 years ago. I was reading about it, and I think his family are going through now trying to get answers. Apparently, he was wandering around the streets. Must have had, I don't know, he might have had some drugs or whatever. But you know, these things are all going on, but we aren't hearing about them to then mobilise around them, if that makes sense.
Here's one. I didn't mean to just jump in on there, but you just reminded me, because you were saying about the same sort of thing happening again. Did you about this New York officer who's been sacked, I think just yesterday, for an illegal chokehold a week after it's been...
Yeah, I saw that.
And he actually choked the guy until he was unconscious.
That's his friend who stopped him.
Stop him,
Yeah, that's just crazy.
This is like this week.
Yeah.
You know, and you know what saddened me about that? That man's obviously watched the news. You can obviously see what's going on. Yet he's still chosen to do something which he knows has caused a whole heap of flipping kerfuffle for the whole bloody system. And that to me is like that. Some of them people, they're not there, man. They're not there. They're just functioning, but they're not thinking. They're not living. They're almost like machines. You know,
with that. Sorry, carry on, Lloyd. Sorry, mate.
No, I was scared. I was finished, man. I don't understand how someone could do that.
No, it's crazy. But like I was just going, the same thing again. Going back to Wayne's point about having different judiciary. is kind of the same with this. What I'm going to say about this officer. This officer is obviously, this is the way he handles confrontation with people. He's got like years, not just training, but the way he is. Maybe he's a bully. Maybe he's got this kind of thing like, you know, when I go and stop a man, you know, I frisk him and I chuck him up the wall and I just grip him, and you know what I mean. That's the way certain people do it. The same what I'm saying about this judiciary thing. You know, like Nigel was saying, like in Jamaica, they can be just as harsh, if not harsher than anybody else. You know, that's because you're still going to have a narcissistic judge or an incompetent lawyer, or somebody who's got an axe to grind, or somebody who's got something to gain from playing the system. And that's not going to matter if you're in a black court, white court, whatever.
Yeah,
what we could hope for is more fair juries. So maybe there's more people amongst our peers who are in a jury, because in the country where we make up 9% of the population, if you're a black person, which is most likely going to be attending court, in all fairness, and that, you know, if you look at the rate, the court rates, and you know, people going through the system, so then that should represent 50, like, you know, it should be a lot higher than maybe one person, if none, black people on the jury. Because like I say, when it comes to a black person committing crime, they convict. They always convict. 90% of convict. You know, cases they convict.
They do, mate. There needs to be more colour in courts. I mean, I had to go to court with my son, and I've gone into this court and I'm looking around and I'm thinking, there's one Indian man there, everybody else is white. The only black people who are in the bloody dock. No wonder this is set up against them from the off. And that ain't their fault. That's because not enough of our people aren't striving to get infiltrated within the big. What you got to remember is our people aren't infiltrating the bigger system as quickly as some of the other people of colour. So we are getting left behind because of some of the choices that we're making when it is time for career. No, not everybody wants to be a lawyer, but why aren't we aspiring for them big roles, them £80,000, £100,000 a year jobs? Why ain't more of us aspiring for that? So
you know that you're saying that now, because I've got one more topic quickly I want to just touch on before we close the show. I wrote something about, because we're Jamaicans, obviously, a lot of us who have Jamaican heritage. Do you think we benefit? Yeah. I wrote something saying, aren't Jamaicans and all people of colours whose ancestors have been removed from their natural habitat entitled to some sort of reparations, and not just the Americans? You know, because where did that stop? Like, because we didn't get nothing, and there might be the argument that your parents got invited over here, which of course they wanted to send us back.
That's not any kind of gift anyway. Listen, so we came over to service the shortfall, like the Windrush generation.
Yeah,
that was completely unrelated to anything that happened hundreds of years before. And for sure, we should definitely have some kind of reparations. And I talked about this before anyway, where I said reparations shouldn't be just, you know, I'm going to give you, as a person with black heritage, X amount of money, but putting infrastructure in black communities,
exactly,
our history right, teaching, you know, giving people where we fell through the gaps in societies where they should be trying to plug it. Now that's the way we should do reparations. And I've actually got a petition online now, actually on my Facebook and that, which is actually asking people to sign up for that, and which was nearly at 100,000 today already. So that's definitely something that we should be looking into. Our story is just as painful as anybody else's. When we talk about, like, there's no difference between the American slave trade and the UK slave trade. The only thing is with the United States is they slaved a hell of a lot more people, and they slaved them obviously in the US and that, you know. But this is basically this is basically Britain back then. You know, we were the colonies. You know, America is still a British colony. These are our people doing this to Africans and that. And so we've lost our history, like I say, names, every sort of like story that was ever told, everything that we know about our environment, ourselves, and we're trying to learn it again. And I've said this before, like, and I don't want to insult anybody except just raise basically a light to what the situation is. I think that I'm not a learned person, but I try and soak up information, and I've tried to soak up as much as I can over the years in black history as far as what I've wanted to learn. And I know I haven't scratched the surface. I know, like I said, I'll give you the analogy the other day where I said, it's like, if we had a big pizza and it was in 12 slices, I'll be lucky if I know a topping off that pizza, let alone a slice. And I think
Wayne's the man for that, man. Wayne's got a fat book there. Was going to give us some education over the next couple of months, man.
Yeah, man. But like I said, I want to know a lot more. I think we need to sort of...
How much was it?
€35, man. But I'm gonna get the second one too, which is another €25. But I thought I'd get through this
Good,
one
man.
first.
Make sure your kids read that, man. That's bedtime
Yeah,
story.
definitely. That's why I bought it. I said they're gonna get a page every day until they're 16. No, actually, 300 pages. So 1 year now. I'm gonna have to do it slowly with them. I'm gonna get a page a day until they get to an age where they understand.
There's other books, Wayne. Just remember that there's other books.
You know what will happen, right? You know what will happen, right? I'll tell you what's gonna happen. You'll go through it with them, and then what will happen is they will then start to pick it up themselves and look through it themselves.
Of course. And I need them to do that.
Happen.
Because at the moment, my daughter's obviously like, remember, I think I explained to her that she was like, oh, I don't want to be dad's colour because then people won't see me in the dark and stuff. And I was like, that's not her language. She's hearing that at school. She's hearing, yeah, of course, she's hearing all this at school.
Amazing things about people of your colour, you know, and this is
yeah.
Hey, listen, you don't want to be our colour.
When did she hear that?
Oh, a couple of weeks, about 2 weeks ago, I think. I don't know, man.
You've been to the school?
I've been to the school. No. She told her mom in it. She told her mom this that she doesn't want to be like her.
School, man.
I've already been to the school once.
Have you not?
Sorry, Erica.
Sorry, have you not spoken to her though? You not had a chat.
I've not addressed it at the moment. But I told my wife that if she comes to you with anything like that, I wanted to talk directly to me. I don't want to talk to the white side of her family. She needs to talk about racial issues.
Mate, that was 2 weeks ago, man. You need to raise that now. You need to go down to school, mate, because like I said to you, my English teacher says that told me my ancestors were slaves. Yeah. And I didn't realise the enormity of what she said to me until about 4 years later, when I realised that the woman had been damn racist. Yeah. Now you've got an opportunity. Remember, I said to you earlier about you can't change opinions, but you can educate people. Yeah. You've got an opportunity to let that school know that your daughter is hearing things of a racist undertone.
What I might do. So I might tell her.
Is this the right school for my daughter?
Yeah.
And just ask the question, because they'll have to look at, mate, man, you shouldn't let that, don't let that lie. Not from authority, from authority. You know, if it's a parent and that, then it's okay, I'm not going to go fisticuffs. But, you know, if that is being said to her, who else is it being said to at that school? Yeah.
I mean, I don't know who said it exactly, but I was like, that's not her language. What I will do, I want to
say that she said this to her mom, and I want to understand why she's saying that to her mom, because she hasn't heard that at home. That's
exactly.
Terrible, mate. I bet that bunned you, man.
Wow, I was a bit cheesed up. I was like, oh my God. But what I do think I might do is I might go up to school and raise a bit of hell and say, look, I want you guys to introduce history, black history, some sort of black history. Let people know.
You don't need to raise hell. You need to inform them of what she's brought home from that school.
Yeah.
And you need to make them aware that there's racist undertones going on, and you'd like to understand how she's saying something which you know quite clearly she's never heard at home.
Yeah.
And just put them in that spot. I don't know what the school's like. I don't know what the education's like, but you have a chance there to most certainly then introduce, have you thought of introducing black history to the school?
Yeah, maybe? That's it.
And see what they say. The worst they can say is, oh, Wayne, go away, you're from England, you don't matter. Or they might actually say, oh, we're so sorry, we didn't realise that this was happening. What we'll do is we're going to address it, and you might actually open something up and create change. You might create change.
Can you imagine resistance are going to come up against in this area?
What
resistance, man. They'll be like, you got to teach our kids about black people, man. No, this can't happen. We're in Germany. We got to teach people about Germans.
Mate, the thing is, it hasn't got to be a big song and dance. The thing is, they can introduce history about other people without this. They haven't got to announce that. You know, if a kid, oh, Mum, I learned about some villages in Africa today. If that Mum's got a problem with that, make her go and embarrass herself. Oh, you can't do. But the thing is, you've got an opportunity to affect change in that school. Don't forget, your 2 other kids have got to still go to that school.
Yeah.
Do you want your 2 other kids to go to that school knowing that the likelihood is they're going to come and say, oh, Dad, we don't want to be the same colour as you. You're too dark.
Yeah.
You got a chance. Don't go up there and raise Mary hell. Just have an adult conversation with someone in authority there and say, listen, she's bringing home language which she's not hearing at home. So I need to understand, what's going on here. Do you have multicultural lessons? Do you talk about other races? Are you introducing that to the kids? My daughter's coming home and making a racist statement about me. Well, there's only hearing at home that she's there. So, and almost embarrass them. I'm just almost going along like a little bit, I don't know why she's saying this. You've got to tell me. I don't know. Let them talk to you, man. But seriously, mate, you could affect change there. Definitely. I would definitely do that.
Okay, and just quickly.
I really definitely think you need that daddy-daughter time in order to
definitely
speak with her and speak about the positives and say, well, I love my skin, and think about all the great things that you would want to say to her to give her pride as well and boost her up a bit.
Yeah, Erica, do you want to put in your
shame?
Erica, do you want to put in your topic quickly?
Oh yeah, so it should have been in the time of the statues, obviously feed in and everything, and I've just had the battery die on me. But yeah, in terms of statues, and obviously people are trying to cling on to history, but in terms of what's been rewritten, is it now time for us to have Black Jesus, to get rid of the white Jesus? Because at the very minimum, we know that Jesus would have been, and Israelites would have been at the very minimum looking kind of Asian, a little bit Middle Eastern.
That's
So
a brown Jesus. And
You're gonna.
yeah. Let's talk about brown Jesus. I think black people and white people and brown people can all go, listen, this is the compromise, man.
Yeah.
This is the middle ground.
Yeah. Is it that time? No, but when you think about like you talk about education, and there's a lot of people out there that would truly believe Jesus is a long Caucasian, long blonde haired man. And at the very minimum, if he was he would not have been. So
my view on this, if you think of what we've been speaking about regarding 400 years oppression, slavery, etc. I watched something the other day, and there's a lady, a white lady, a professor, and she was talking about we're all the human race. And she said that race wasn't a thing up until the Spanish Inquisition. And what they needed to know was, how do we decide what religion people are? Right. So if they're not white, that means they're going to be a different religion, savages. And you know, they used to go to Africa and they'd burn them if they didn't take on Christianity. So talking about Jesus, Christianity isn't our religion as a people.
Yeah.
When we were taken from Africa, we weren't practicing no Christianity. So Christianity to me, you know, and I'm sorry if anyone's religious, is a religion that's been forced on black people. If you think about it, voodoo, which is called black magic, and it's supposed to be nasty and evil, if you think about it, that's more in line to the kind of religion that we had when our people were back in Africa. They weren't praying to no white Jesus. They weren't praying to all these people. They had their own gods, their own beliefs. Now, I've got a friend who actually does voodoo. She has an offering and altars, and some crazy stuff happens to her. And you're like, wow. I'm not saying it's magic, but you know, for me, when I see, you know, I used to go to church a lot, and it's only recently, and I think back and I see the pastor say, "Don't worry, because we're gonna have a better day. Our day is gonna come when you go to heaven." And I thought, so hold on a second, I've got to wait until I'm dead before I can actually have a better time of my life.
But this is why they was apparently give it to the slaves, and that they say that, you know,
that's why they used it.
Yeah,
they used it on the slaves to make them think, oh, well, if I can get through this servitude, I'm going to come out the other side, and I'm going, you know, look at what they say to the fundamentalists in Islam. If you do something, you'll end up with all these virgins. Now, it was really ironic. I don't know, someone put it on a group yesterday, and there's this guy, this Asian guy, and he says the biggest mistake that man has said to other men is that it's going to be better when you're dead.
Yeah,
you're going to have a better time when you're dead.
Yeah, it's true.
For all you know, you could be in heaven right now and making the right pig's ear of it.
It could be just a black. It could just be black. The abyss.
How many people you know waste out their lives because they think, yeah, man, when I'm dead, everything will be better. And the reality is, it stops growth. But as I say, Black Jesus, that isn't really our religion. It's a religion which was created, then rewritten by an English king to suit his own needs. It was then used by slave owners to keep slaves under the thumb. We've embraced that religion, turned it into our own thing, put our little mark on it, but it isn't our religion.
And like I said before, Nigel, if slavers hated us so much, why would they even want us to have eternal salvation in the kingdom of heaven, and for them to see our black faces at the end of it like, oh my Lord, man, like, listen, like, why would they want to give us that religion? Why would they want to give us that freedom? And unless they think, you know, so that they'll be
that's
safe.
That's how you divided the world. Because you can go to Africa and you can see a Muslim, a Christian, a Catholic, a Jewish, this and that and this and that. But there's no unity between them on a spiritual level because they're all following somebody else's religion. Somebody else, not a black religion. It's a religion that's come from another continent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if you think about it, we've lost what would have been, what we would have hung our hats on for these years. You've got to wonder why. Well, you know what? It was forced. It was forced. You know, they kill people in Africa if they didn't take on Christianity. They have missionaries who go there. If they don't convert, kill them, burn them, do this, do that. What?
I think Erica's second topic was something about celebrities. Erica, what was it? The celebrities.
Yeah, so this is going back to Marcus Rashford again, but Katie Hopkins apparently getting banned from Twitter. I don't even want to say a name. This woman,
look, that's a this Owens.
A load of locusts coming down on her head anyway, man.
Yeah, but for me, I'm kind of thinking, on the one hand, and being devil's advocate, it's like, well, free speech, and there are people out there that would want to see that. But then on the other hand, I'm kind of thinking, shouldn't we just lock it down? It's especially as we're on this movement now, not just in terms of oppression and fighting that, but in terms of, should people be paid for spouting hatred and nonsense?
Well, she's not. We don't
get more of a platform
anyway, do we? Often. Common misconception, you know, we don't have the First Amendment like America does. We're not allowed to have free speech. We have free speech up until the point where it's deemed to be hateful. Yeah, and I guess with her as well, like sometimes it's a lot of misinformation as well. But she is literally the embodiment of somebody who spreads hate. So, you know, I don't think she's a free speech matter. I think she's a hate speech. You know, and if we're going to ban people from spreading, Islamic fundamentalism, then we need to stop people like her who have an equally dangerous voice on the other side, and that who spreads a lot of hate towards these communities and other communities around, you know. And she with her, she will literally do anything just to be divisive, and I find that in this day and age, and that is so dangerous, because we're at breaking point. We don't need Katie Hopkins on top of everything else.
It's interesting that you do that comparison, actually, because in terms of fragile minds and who she could influence, who could then turn that thought and that influence into negative actions, then you're right. Banned.
And this is the thing, and this is why, you know, change is a coming, because exactly the same as the Black Boy pub, Katie Hopkins had free reign up until this year. You know, look back at her tweets from the last 5 years, the last 10 years, and she's been saying the same shit over and over again. But now, because of the movement, bloody hell, it's like, oh, tell you what, we're going to get... So change is coming. Change is coming.
In a big way.
People now, and there's nothing wrong with locking off some of these views. The thing is, you don't want them to go underground because you want to know what they're doing. But you do want to be able to, you know... If they can't say anything positive, then we don't want to hear what you got to say at all. Just lock you off, man.
Yeah. I was going to touch on that by saying George Floyd did not, and I repeat, did not put a gun to anyone's stomach, pregnant woman. So don't listen to Candice Owens. I swear, me and Simon got something cooking for her anyway. Hey, so we're gonna trust me, man. She's our prime target now at the moment. We're gonna take her down, man.
Listen, man. Listen. Right. All I'm gonna say is she's a woman of color. And if we're talking about unity, we've even got to bring along the one.
She's anti. Nah. She's anti. Nah. We draw a line.
If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem.
Yeah.
I watched the Trump rally the other day, and I was absolutely shocked to see at least 10, 15 black faces in the crowd.
Yeah. They're the house.
No, you can't say that, because they're going to get treated the same way by law enforcement, even though they're Trump supporters.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. You've got to either take us all along, or some of us. Someone like Candice Owens needs to go through reality, and then she'll come out the other side and say, "Lord, I'm
she will.
Being a fool."
She'll get a wake up call.
Yeah, that's what she needs.
To be honest, it'll be when she's got her money and she's sold her soul to the devil for life.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I have got to.
Yeah, okay. So, you got anything you want to plug quickly before you stream
off? No, not at the moment. Actually, we've got coming up on this show, hopefully next week or in a couple of weeks, we've got a racing driver, Nigel. I don't know if you've seen him in the Black Owen group. We've got this racing driver that we cannot wait to speak to. I'm not going to say any more for now. I'm not going to tell you any more.
All right. Erica, got anything to bless us with?
No, just enjoy life and enjoy your children, because this time next year, if it is all back to normal, then you won't have that wonderful time with them, even with the irritations and the lack of sleep. Enjoy it.
All right. Nigel, hit me.
Yeah, well, next week we have a guest called Erica Jarrett.
Oh,
Another
two
Erica.
Ericas.
She runs a company called Pregnancy Bump Box. She's obviously a female entrepreneur. I've met her through a masterclass and I invited her on, and she's going to come on next week. So what I'll do, I've got a bit of blurb. Remember what we spoke about, Wayne? We want to try and get the guests booked in advance so we can start creating a bit of curiosity around what's going on.
Exactly.
I've got to get in touch with her to remind her because she thought it was this week for some strange reason. Other than that, I've got my workshop on tomorrow, and then on Friday I'm launching my program. So anybody who's looking to improve their marketing,
yeah, man. Man, that's it. That's it for this week, man. We guys are going to see you guys next week, of course. Look forward to. We got a guy coming on. He's going to talk about the gangs in the army.
Oh, when's he coming on?
Yeah, in a couple of weeks. I got to sort everything out. I got another guy who's also he's a business guy too. This will be interesting for you as well. He's going to come on as well in a couple of weeks. Let's schedule it, man.
Let's schedule it.
Well, I know. Obviously, Simon's guest. We've got loads of people, man. It's going to all start clogging up soon, man. I tell you.
Nah, the thing is, though, it's
good daily. It's
good to have a waiting list because you can pace out what gets delivered, what gets published and promoted.
All right, man, guys. Yeah, man, that's enough, like. So dance out to the song. Oh, the song's ended.
No.